Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana. I wanted to do a quick little 2 or 3 5-minute video here talking about the fact that yesterday it was announced. I received an email here. I'll pull it up on the screen as you can see. For those of you who didn't know this yet, and some of you may not even use PSA, I like to use PSA to grade my cards. I'm open to other grading card companies as well, but PSA is kind of my go-to. I had been sitting on the sidelines and waiting for PSA to reopen its bulk at a lower price. I think the price it was at 48 hours ago was $30 a card. That's a little steep because I had some cards that are worth about $20. I hate to pay more in grading fees than the raw card's worth. And so I was waiting and hoping, we saw an $18 value deal in July for a promotion for the National, which was great. And I ended up sending about 100 cards in at that $18 mark. I was really thinking that was PSA's way of testing the waters, seeing what their capacity was. I got, bits and pieces of information that they got inundated with cards because so many people had been on the sidelines for so long, waiting for a little bit lower value level. And I think they may have overshot it, and 18 might have been too cheap. So that's one perspective, is that PSA opened it for 18 for a month and they're like, holy hell, here it is again. This is going to be too much. They kind of extrapolated forward and realized we're not going to be able to reopen completely at 18 and keep up and turn these things around in 5 or 6 months. So they took the month of August off, and it was back to $30 a card. That July $18 promotion ended, and now we get the email yesterday, and they're coming back with bulk at $22 a card. There are a couple of prerequisites, a couple of caveats here that you definitely should know, and then we'll talk about why they chose 22 and what I think about that price range of 22. It's only open to Collectors Club members. I'm a Collectors Club member. Obviously, I send a lot of stuff to PSA, so that's not an issue. But here, let me pull this back up on the screen. Here you go. So here are the prerequisites, right, for you to be eligible for this $22. You got to be a Collectors Club member to have access to the bulk service level. It's $22 a card. There is a 25 card minimum, and they bifurcated it now from 1995 and older, and then 1996 to present. Remember, they used to have that ultra modern, where I think 2017 maybe was the cutoff or something like that. It's been so long, I forget. Now it's 1995 and older, and then 1996 to present. You've got to have 25 cards in one of those two categories. So you can't send 12 2012 cards and 13 1986 Fleers to get your 25. It doesn't work. You've got to have 25 in either or both if you want to send two different orders in. You have 199 max declared value per card. Again, that's a nebulous deal. If you've got a $250 card, and you put it in there and you put $190 declared value, they're going to grade the freaking card. They may upgrade you depending on what it grades, but you could slip one past the goalie. I've done that. Comment below if you think I'm crazy on that, but I've sent cards in bulk that, in a PSA 10 slab are worth way more, and I didn't get upcharged. So I don't know if that's just luck of the draw or what. Again, the way cards are, they're changing value every day. Like a card, 5 days ago could be worth $100, and today it could be worth $200 or $12. So that happens, right? It's happening in the hobby right now with injuries and stuff like that. So PSA is pretty lenient on that max declared value. And my understanding is that's just the value that they'll replace the card at in the event that it's damaged or destroyed or lost or something like that, if it was through the fault of PSA. At least that's been my experience. PSA's damaged a couple of my cards. Thank God they were not big cards, little Jordan baby base cards, and they agreed to pay me. Actually, they paid me on this occasion double the declared value. Again, it was like a $15 card, so they gave me, I think, $30 for each of the two cards they damaged, which was really weird. They damaged 2 out of like 270 cards, but customer service was really good with me on that occasion. I can only speak for myself. It worked out really well. And then the last little caveat here, which should be big and bold, is 120 to 150 day estimated turnaround time. And then the lawyer in me and the skeptic in all of you will probably say, wait a second, what's that asterisk? First of all, let's divide 150 by 30, and that's 5 months. So it's about a 5-month turnaround. You know what? I'm okay with that. Again, it doesn't reopen the 30-day base flipper opportunities that used to exist in this hobby. But if you're one of those people that likes to hold cards a little bit longer, like I do, and you've got the ability to forecast into the future, and you kind of make your moves much earlier in the game, and you're not looking for a quick 30 to 60-day deal, you're more like, buying in the off season, hoping to liquidate come playoffs in your particular sport or season, 5 months works, right? As long as it is 5 months, but there's an asterisk. And what does that asterisk mean? Down here in .7 font, you can read, estimated turnaround times are estimates only and not guaranteed. Okay, well, that's fine. I mean, I didn't expect PSA to go on the record like Domino's, 10 minutes or your money back or whatever, 30 minutes or your pizza's free. I get it, so they got to cover their ass. That's what we call CYA in the legal profession. So I totally understand it, but that's it. That's the gist of it. Why did they choose $22? There's a couple of thoughts on that. The optimistic thought was they care about the hobby. They want to make sure they can turn the cards around in a reasonable amount of time, which they have deemed to be 4 to 5 months. You know what you're getting. You're paying for what you are expecting to get. This is their best guess after that little sample guinea pig July opportunity they gave people. I think maybe they realized if we open it back up at 18, we're going to get too many to turn these around in that window of 4 to 5 months, and therefore we need to price this at $22. That's the optimist side. Thinking about the hobby, what's best for the hobby, making sure that they can satisfy customers. The pessimistic perspective, which is, in my experience in the hobby, what 90% of the people watching this video are going to have is they did it at 18. They want to see if they can they were fine. They did it. They turned them around. Everything was great. They want to nibble a little bit more and see how much more they could push the envelope and still get the same volume. Like, will collectors notice a $4 difference per card, or will they just ignore it and send cards in at $22 that they would have sent in at $18? And if that is the case, well, then PSA just made an extra $4 with no change in capacity, no change in overhead or anything like that. So that's the pessimistic side, is that PSA is trying to bleed us dry and seeing what they can get away with. The optimistic perspective, which is the one that I'm choosing to take, as you know, I end every video with keep collecting, stay positive in the hobby and peace. The optimistic perspective is that, PSA got a little bit too many cards in July, and they're concerned that they won't be able to turn around them in time and keep their promise to the collectors and the people that are in this collectors club. And therefore, they had to bump that price up to make sure that they kind of throttled back on how much they were going to receive, at this $22 level. So I don't think this is the last we'll see of this. I think this number will wax and wane. My guess is at some point, as capacity grows, as they kind of figure out what their tolerance level is. I mean, they need some time to figure out what their tolerance level is and what they can churn out in the estimated 4 to 5 month window. If they figure out that they can do this, we can handle this, and they want more cards, I think you may see that number go down. This really is a supply and demand deal where supply is what will drive the price, right? The amount of cards that are sent to PSA will dictate whether this $22 goes to $25 or goes to 18 or 15, right? And then there's always the possibility that PSA may say, you know what? We love you vintage set collectors. This is what our company's based on. Cards in 1980 and before, with less than a $100 declared value, we're going to grade those cards at $10 a card, but there's going to be a 12-month turnaround or something like that. I think that would appeal to a lot of set collectors. I'm not one of those guys who collects 1975 Topps baseball, but there's I shouldn't say millions. There's many thousands of guys out there like that. And that is kind of what PSA's business was built on, is satisfying those set collector types that are collecting those vintage cards, back in the day for baseball and whatnot. And so, if you want to get a Buddy Bell, 1977 Topps card graded, that may be a $3 card and you need it in the PSA 8. You're not going to submit that card for $22. But if they open up some kind of special service level for, old set collector, common type, baseball, basketball, football, whatever, cards like that from way back to satisfy the needs of those set collectors, they also don't need those cards back immediately. It's not like they're putting a set together and selling their set. These are people that are true collectors that want to put those sets together, and I empathize with those people because I am one of those people for some of the more 80s, 90s modern stuff. So maybe they'll do something like that. PSA's got a blank canvas. It's Pandora's box. They can take this in any direction that they want to, guys. I just wanted to put this out there for those of you who did not get to see this email. They're open now at $22, not $30. And so keep that in mind, and react accordingly. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are they bleeding us dry? Are you the pessimist? My guess is most of you guys are. Hey, we forgot about one category, realist, right? Maybe this is maybe the realist version is that they're just testing the water still. They need one more month, and they're going to try 22 and see what happens with supply and pricing and whatnot and capacity. And so, and then maybe they'll adjust it again, as we get towards the fall season into the NBA preseason and the NFL gets kickstarted. So we'll see. Let's just see what PSA does from here. I'm going to keep an open mind and hope for the best. And I still am not losing faith. I think PSA at some point will dip below $20. I really believe that. That being said, I'm going to send in probably, I had a couple of cards that I was sent in at $30 maybe a couple of weeks ago. Bad timing, I know. But I sent maybe 12, 15 cards, something like that. With this 25 card minimum, I'll probably send in 30 cards. I've got a few collectors here in Baton Rouge. We'll pool our cards together, send maybe 50, 70 cards at the $22 level. But I will say this, there are still cards that I will not send at $22. And I don't know if Nat's watching this video. I'm pretty viral, so he probably is. The odds are it's 50-50, right, that Nat's watching my content. I've got some cards that I will not send in at $22 that I would send in at $15. And I know that sounds chintzy and cheap, right? And kind of trashy, but that's true. That's just the truth of it. I mean, $7 is nothing to sneeze at when you multiply it by 100. That's now 700. That affects your margin. And some of the collectors out there in this hobby are operating on thin margins, thinner than they were 2 months ago, 2 years ago, I should say. In 2020, $7 didn't mean a damn thing to me. I would have sent in those cards at $20 that I was sending in at $8 because the margins were incredible if they came back PSA 10s, and you'd eat that, extra $12 cost up. Now, margins are not like that. You got to work harder for your money. You got to spend more time. You got to put more thought into the cards that you're buying, and you've got to be more scrutinizing in the condition of the raw cards that you submit. And so, the difference between $22 and $15 matters more today than it would have mattered in 2020, and I think PSA is going to figure it out. But I do have faith at some point PSA is going to dip into that $15 to $18 range again. Let's just see how this goes. I think probably for a couple months, and maybe they'll open up some more promotional type stuff. Remember, they used to do those promotions, and just this vintage set collecting promotion is just one I made up. I have no reason to believe they will, but it's not out of the realm of possibility they could do something like that. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Let me know in the comments: are you going to send cards in at 22 that you would not have sent in at 30? Or are you still going to sit on the sidelines and hope for the best and wait for 15 or below before you send in cards at this 22 level? I'm just curious what you guys think. I told you what I'm doing. I sent some in at 30. There are cards I'm going to send in at 22 that I would not have sent in at 30. But there are still cards over here, over to my right. I've got, thousands of raw cards sitting here waiting. And I know I'm the reason there's a backlog, whatever. I'm not going to send certain cards at 22 that if they had come out and in my email yesterday had said 15, there's a lot more cards I would have sent that I will not send at 22. So I'm just dipping my toes in the water, just like PSA. I think we're all feeling each other out. And so I want to know what you guys think in the comments. So thank you guys for watching. Keep collecting, stay positive in the hobby, and peace.